turned on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to call our meeting. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, September 28th. And just for the record, this is, we are 2 weeks later than we normally would be, and that's because of the hurricane and all the other issues that came up about the time we needed to meet. So call us to order, and Jimmy, would you open us with a prayer?
We're going to my head. Well, Heavenly Father, we come again, Heavenly Father, within your name and your will. Lord, we ask you, Heavenly Father, to guide our mind, Heavenly Father, so that we'll make the right decisions on these things that we're asking for the county. Oh Lord, help us, Heavenly Father, to be able to stand in your name. We pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Thank you. We are supposed to have a gentleman here from River Valley to talk about our comprehensive work plan that we're going to need to approve shortly. And he's not here yet, so we're going to move on if we have to go back and stop and pick that up. Okay, we have our agenda. Does anybody have any corrections to the agenda or additions? I hear a motion. We accept the agenda.
I make that one.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, we'll move on. The next item we have is citizens' comments. Ms. Kearney.
She said the day before yesterday she was. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm addressing you this morning on the the agreement that was given to me by this morning. And I'm sorry that we didn't have that you didn't include us in talking about the agreement rather than just putting a statement in the paper about it, because it was more than just what Mr. Coleman had put in. And I didn't realize, or I don't realize, and I think a lot of us don't realize, that Mr. Coleman sets the agenda and tells you guys what to do. Really, we always thought that you made the decisions that we elected you to address us, protect us, and direct us. And then if you needed legal assistance from the attorney about how to do it. But since I was not able to ask questions at the time, and because you didn't ask us any questions, a lot of this could have been avoided. So, based on what you have in the paper, Mr. Coleman, about the agreement, and I'd already spoken to my commissioner, Mr. Allen, and to the other commissioner, Mr. Williams, who's not here, and told me he wouldn't be here. I wanted to tell you that what's in this contract is not what we can accept because excuse my voice, I have an allergy this morning. Because all of your whereases and all of your sections, but it does not pertain to us. Number one, since 2002, 2003, and I believe Mr. Coleman might have been involved in this with the city, when matter of fact, we didn't even ask them at the time for the assistance. What they did at the time was one of the city council women, based on the hotel motel money, and they were dispersing it all kinds of ways, said that they felt that we was entitled to part of the hotel motel money. Since this came up, the question has been, don't we get some of the hotel motel money from the county? My answer was, no, we don't. Over the years, all we had ever asked was you to support it. If you look at your agreement, numbers, well, several of them, two of them I want to call your attention to. Number 5 and number 6. Because I understand that what you approved or what you suggested, and to let Commissioner Bradley sign off on was the $600. seemingly they knew anything about the rest of this, about us having to get the $1 million liability insurance. They didn't know anything about us being employed. And whenever I'm employed for something, I get paid for it. You know, you don't employ a person to do a free service. Now, we have been doing this since 1999. 2002, 2003, the city allowed us to have a portion of the hotel money, which takes care of anything that Cuthbert is critical of. We recommend. Cuthbert is a town within the county. This is our county seat. We have been asked over the years, what had the black people done? This was asked by one of them. It was glad to know, to see that we was picking up the banner that was given to us, or put in our lap, not so much as really given to us. They said, well, why don't you all take this? And ever since then, we have been building and enhancing on it. And over the years, we have really grown with this festival. Now, tourism. I don't know how many of you have this book. And I know I'm not supposed to ask you any questions, but I've always allowed you to ask me questions. But I guess at this point, questions are not necessary because you've made your decision about the $600. Number two, we have gotten over the years from the city. Number three, we have been involved in tourism. When I said we, the Fletcher Henderson group have been involved in tourism from the very beginning. We first started out in the old chamber building when Ms. Grigsby was the director of the Chamber of Commerce. And at that time, she was really in charge of working with the Fletcher Henderson Jazz Festival. Now, I think about 2 years ago now, the tourism board came down and did a workshop within the area showing how we could enhance Randolph County and Cuthbert, Georgia. We have a lot of tourism around here, buildings, old houses, old homes and everything. Even the Fletcher Henderson home, we started, that was part of our mission statement from the very beginning. We was never able to get it for other reasons, and I'm sure most of you know about those reasons. But when we get a statement in a paper like this, and somebody say, oh, the county gave y'all $600. We said they didn't give us anything. We still have this agreement that we did not sign. We did not sign it because of this. Now, this is what we work on. After that, we put more into it since this came through for the county. And it has really helped those who is involved in tourism. And I don't know if all of you have a copy of this, but if you don't, I would suggest you get it, look at it, and see how everybody in the county can work together and be proud to work together. Now, we want to work with the citizens. The citizens are working with us. Because if they did, we would be able to do some of the things that we are doing. So with that in mind, what I'm going to say, by the way, we didn't need you to tell us to get a liability policy. We have one. We have one. Why? Because that park over there belongs to the city. The bandstand in the park belongs to the city. And I understand that Mr. Coleman has said that you can do whatever you want with it because it belongs to you. No, it belongs to the citizens. The citizens of the county of Randolph and the citizens of Cuthbert. The public parks belong to all of us. And with that in mind, they have insurance on those parks. You know, I've always been told, read the fine print in the contract. To add to that, I'm going to say, read the entire contract. Because if we had signed that contract that day, Ms. Moore called us to come and pick up the check and take a look at it. Without taking a look at it, we could have been at the creek without that. Because somebody somewhere, and it's just the way these minds work, somebody would have stumped a toe in that pole. Do I need to say more? And then you would have been looking at us. We are not an employer or employee. The only people that we employ is us. And we don't get a cent. Matter of fact, we put a lot of money in it. Starting from the very beginning, the first one we held here in the square, the entertainment that we had, Carla Heat Singers was our spotlight of that day. A citizen paid for that. The county didn't pay for it. It was only after that, and after the others we had a few years down the line, from 1999 to 2003, it was the citizens that was doing it. Now, we are the citizens. We were working for the county. We were doing for our citizens in the county, you know? And if you folk can't see it, we don't know what else to tell you. But with that in mind, I'm just going to say that we are not signing the contract. And I'm sorry that you don't find a way to support it. You know, if you were giving us maybe $1 million or the $1 million you're asking us to take out a contract or an insurance for or something, and you're employing us to do it for the county, that's different. These favors and these contracts that you gave us, or the agreement, it said on the contract, it said an agreement. We haven't agreed on this, but we haven't read it. It's needed until Miss Moore called us. They couldn't pick up the check. So I'm sorry that you don't find a way to support it. But we do want to invite you to come and enjoy yourself because it's free to the public. You know, we start working on these. I started my portion of it working on it after New Year's Day. And if you've never really had an affair or an event like this, you don't realize the amount of work that's put into it. And just because I am retired, I have the time to do it, or had the time to do it. But at 87 years old, we have asked others to come in and help. And there are a lot of them came in to help that we didn't even ask. It's very supportive. And I'm very proud of it. And I hope that the citizens of Randolph County is as proud of us doing this, because for a long time we were only to a situation here, other than the children homes. And we were not ever reached out to be a part of. We was never, when you asked to join things like the Garden Club and things around here, what was a statement? You gotta be invited. All of us, we know how to plant grass. We know how to plant trees. Most of them around here, the citizens, black citizens planted them. So a lot of the white citizens and the black citizens have gotten together, and they have tried to make this area better, more inclusive, not exclusive. But this is an example of what life is like in Randolph County for our citizens. And listen, I'm not mad with any of you because you do what you think is right or what you want to do. Because you know a lot of the things you do is not right. A lot of the things you do is not right. And we know, but we elect officials to take care of the citizens, to take care of us, to take care of whatever we need here. And that's what we elected for. But to say that we are taking us as employers, or you're employing us to do things, you know, and if only for a year, if you decide you don't want to do it anymore, that is not how you plan a budget. Now, I know a lot of you are business people. You know you cannot plan a budget on something by waiting to see if they're going to give it to us and they're not going to give it to us. And I just think they're entitled to ask you for the help. Now, if you feel that we're not entitled to it, it's fine. That's fine. But we just got to find other ways to either do the right thing or be exclusive if that's what you want to do. And give us, $600. We don't even pay for one affair with $600. But we are going to say thank you for enlightening us to how you think. And I have copies of this contract for us to see. I've already given Mr. Williams one. I'm giving you guys one. The rest of the county, I'm sorry, it's only 2 county commissioners here today. Because we work within the county, outside of the city of Cuthbert. And next weekend, you're going to see a lot of people here. Then I hope it will also include you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
Good morning. I'd like to make a little change in my agenda. I want to go through something about storm damage first. Monday, September the 11th, Irma uprooted a large oak tree on the county right-of-way from my side yard, which runs parallel to Main Street in Netherlands. And this is the only divided two-lane road in Randolph County or any place in the world that I know of. They've got a ditch right down the middle of the road. The trunk was cleared off the street and pushed back on my property with a large root. I think it's still on the right of way, but it's on my side of the road. But they did cut up all the stuff and cleared the street so traffic could go by. But they pushed all the debris and the trunk of the tree over somebody else's property across the road from me. And it's been left there, and it's still there. And I was told that Randolph County does not pick up the tree debris. If they do, they have to haul it to Dawson, because you don't have a chipper to chip the debris and limbs and branches up. Is that true? Have you ever had a chipper here?
We don't have a chipper, but with storm debris is different than regular cutting trees out of your yard. Storm debris, we immediately cut the trees out of the road and put it on the right of way.
Well,
We come back then and pick it up with dump trucks and
But nothing has been picked up in
yes,
this
ma'am.
stuff.
I understand nothing's been picked up. We've got some road work that they were working on, and as soon as they get done with that, they're going to start doing debris pickup all over the county.
That's good to know. But I was wondering, why can't we use a chipper? Somebody was doing an inventory of old buildings in town. Isn't there some old warehouse or something that you could put a chipper in? And I understand Dawson gets a lot of money from all the byproducts of this chipping they do. They sell it to nurseries or landscapers or whatever.
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of what Dawson does, but what we do with it is we stage it at the landfill, burn it, and then what's left, the ashes, we mix back into the dirt and use on the roads.
You don't call it to Dawson and let them do it?
No, ma'am, we don't.
And I'd like to also make, this is what I had on the agenda about the time and the agenda that the commissioners have. It's really early. This is the only county meeting that happens that I know of around here at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I know it's said that it's held at 8 o'clock in the morning so more people can come. But I checked back over the last 17 meetings, and there was never more than 7 people from the public here one time, and usually it was about 75% more county employees that were here. And it's never been more than 21 people that I see in the recorded number that's in the minutes for the whole meetings. And so I just wonder if it might not increase the number of people who do come to the meetings if it's changed to a later time. And I know it's been discussed before, but I thought that was a little extra information that I looked up.
It actually, for a time, 10, 15 years ago, was moved tonight. I think why, and the commission moved it back. But it was at 80 but it didn't increase attendance, is my recollection of what it was. Thank you for It was at night for a while. But this has been a long time, Jimmy. Commissioner, it's probably 10, 15 years ago.
I know that in the 90s they tried doing it at 7 o'clock, and then in the early 2000s they tried doing it either at 7 or at 8, and we had less attendance at night than we had during the morning. And that's why it's always been in the morning, because every time they've tried to change it, we don't even get the participation from the county employees or the citizens if it's at night.
Well, most of the citizens that came, that were listed as being here, are the people that had business before the commission, in the minutes of the meetings that I looked at. And I'd like to know, if you see somebody you think is abusing some issue of government property or whatever, who do you report that to first? Do you report to the district attorney, or do you report to the commissioners? Who would you contact first, or the sheriff?
I guess it depends on what kind of abuse you're talking about. If they're just misusing it, you talk to the commissioners. If they were committing some criminal act, I'd call the sheriff about that. And it could be either one of those things. That happens a lot. Yeah. Yes, ma'am, it could be both. But if they're just misusing or abusing a piece of equipment, I'd call the county manager first. If they were, for example, sometimes not necessarily here, but in other places I represent, you'll find an employee who took a backhoe home and cut himself his own driveway or something like that. You can't use public equipment for private purpose.
Okay. And I would like to speak about the donation that was made to Fletcher Henderson's Jazz Festival. I don't know, who is the sponsor of that festival? Is it the Henderson Foundation?
Yes.
Is it right for the government to donate money?
No, ma'am. That's the reason there's a contract. If the government donates money to somebody except for certain limited things, like there's an exception in the code for chambers of commerce, specifically that. But if they can enter into a contract with a private party, including a foundation, to do something they're legally capable of doing themselves if they wanted to. So counties can engage in cultural activities and recreation and community enhancement if they want to. They could legally put on the festival. Matter of fact, I was in Baconton this week, and they have a con festival that's put on by the Downtown Development Authority in the city. But if you very often cities and counties enter into contracts with foundations and private nonprofits and other people to do a certain function. So the county, we got asked to make some contributions. We can't make a contribution, but we can enter into a contract that they will carry out this festival and we'll pay them for it if there are certain conditions.
Well, that certainly seems like paying one way or another.
I think that's right.
Skin care.
Yes, ma'am. That's what the law says, and so you can enter into a contract with them. And of course, when you do that, what the discussion was about was, the standard clauses in all these contracts is you require your contractor to indemnify you and provide some insurance.
And I thought it was quite unusual that the contract was prepared and ready for signature when it was voted on.
Why is that unusual?
I would think that it hadn't been voted on or talked about or decided, and why was the contract already drawn up?
Contract wasn't drawn up. We talked about it twice before we asked him to draw up the contract so we could provide the money. We'd already actually voted on it. If you look in the minutes.
Well, you decided to give it to them or sign the contract. Didn't you sign the contract to do it?
No,
It hasn't been signed.
It hasn't been signed.
They refused to sign it. She just said they wasn't going to sign it. because
Well,
we
I
asked,
couldn't hear what you were saying.
we asked for it to be done legally
Yeah.
and to protect the county, and she refused. So what can we do?
Well-
We agreed to give her $600 for the foundation, but didn't agree with the terms of this contract.
Okay, good.
So, you know,
Congratulations.
we've done our part as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Although, for everything, they comply. All they gotta do is add the county to the insurance policy.
Yeah?
And that would comply. I don't know what the problem is.
But I thought it was setting a standard, so you might be donating money to any foundation in the future.
Well, the county doesn't do that, but we do from, the county from time to time has entered into contracts with people. I don't recall exactly who, but these are standard clauses in a contract that we would do with anybody.
And I'd like to say something to the sheriff. This is Sheriff back here. I went to report an incident, and all the money that they dropped in lost. And I wonder if they all go to lunch at the same time, but there's no one there, and I had to wait over 30 minutes to resort the incident.
Man, we all put a lot sometimes together, but it's not like we don't have, we can leave anytime. Nobody will be reported here.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to.
Doing the day, it's a good one, I have two problems with it, like that,
This thing says that they're not,
that don't stop me, that's the call.
can you report us from as an independent contractor?
Ask for someone to come back up there,
It's odd, I think they should get over.
if you ask for them to come back, they'll come back. We don't refuse calls, get what we do.
It was refusing to call, I just thought it would be nice if one was there, you're not all over the lunch at some time.
Like I said,
Do you eat it? Are you allowed to eat it still? Do you have a separate restroom room to eat it still?
we have that, but I don't tell them to go to lunch, as long as they answer their calls and answer their routine calls, I don't tell them to go to lunch. They can go home, go to lunch, they can go to the restaurant, go to lunch, they can go anybody want to go eat. It's real good cook at the jail, but we just leave the jail and go eat. They're all day, so.
They are allowed to eat there before.
Yes, ma'am, they'll allow me there if they wanted to. Yes, ma'am.
And there was an invitation sent to the BOC to attend the Randolph County Democratic Party's town hall meeting. And it was mentioned in the meeting for June 13th. And there was no mention that I saw of a follow-up that you accepted the invitation or went to it or what. But I did get an invitation also, and I went. And this is talk about the minutes. They did raise the issue of starting the meetings early. That was one of the things they thought might unify the community a little better. And a lot of people from this personnel was at the meeting also. And it was held at Shaw's, and it's a very low percentage. And I think that's all I have today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think she had several questions there that I think you can address.
I've already talked to her about these issues, but she wanted to express her concerns before the board.
Okay. All right, let's jump back. Rick, we're going to give you the floor. We're going to adjourn our meeting for, say, 5 or 10 minutes and let Rick present our public hearing.
Let me hand these out, Mr. Chairman.
No, it's two separate.
Coleman, how you doing?
I'm fine, Rick.
You all right today? Yes, sir.
Because we had that meeting.
Okay.
What I handed to you, it's the draft Randolph County Community Work Program 5-year implementation plan. And obviously, you don't have to read it right now, you can, but I'm giving it to y'all, take a look. I know, talked to Mr. Bradley about it, and Patricia, and some other individuals. And this is something that was discussed over 2 or 3 meetings prior in this year. But it's the end result really of the comprehensive plan. It's what you want to do for the next 5 years. So it's a culmination of going through issues and opportunities, creating some goals and objectives, and then coming down to your work program. And so that's really the most important part. And there's also a report of accomplishments from your last work program, which will be in the document as well. I'm going over that with Mr. Bradley. And for all the cities in the county, you probably really don't realize how much you have accomplished. With Randolph, and Shell and all together. I would dare say of the 25 items we had listed in 2012, y'all did at least probably 80% of them. And so that's very good. That's very positive. So this is the end result. It's the most important piece because this is what you, in a general sense, will go off of as you continue your day-to-day business. Paving roads, updating some policies, community development block grants, whatever. In our rural areas, we're very infrastructure heavy in our comp plans because that's what our rural areas need is infrastructure. It needs repaving, it needs creation. It needs better ideas of how to get people from point A to point B. And so that's basically what we focus on. The other part that is key is the future land use map. As y'all know, y'all have a zoning ordinance. And part of the zoning ordinance is your comprehensive plan. Because what that does, especially the future land use map, when you're making a zoning decision, it helps very much to have your zoning ordinance and your future land use plan match up. So when you make a decision, somebody just can't look at you and go, well, y'all did that y'all made that decision out of nowhere. You can always look at it and say, well, the plan talks about this. Future land use map has a recommendation of this. It's not that you have to agree with it 100% of the time, but what it tells an attorney or a judge or somebody else is that you've given it thought. It's not arbitrary and capricious. And this is y'all's future land use map. I'm going to leave this as well. And as you can see, most of it's agricultural. One of the things that now, Jimmy always gets mad when I call him Mr. Bradley. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to call him when I'm at the official meeting. I'll just say Mr. Chairman. But one of the things Mr. Chairman asked me to put on here is the cemeteries. Y'all had all your cemeteries mapped. And it's in a brochure. And Chairman asked me if we could put it on a larger map. And I said yes. So all those little blue dots that you see, the smaller ones, those are all your cemeteries based off the coordinates that were done in the brochure. And we can make this bigger. We can do it in quads. And so I always thought, and the nice thing is, that's one of the things you look at as a public facility or community facility, are your cemeteries. And so now you have them all marked. They're all in blue, which is an indication of a public facility there. And there's not necessarily a future land use that we placed on those at some point in time. We may have to. But I just don't see that land use changing. I mean, even though these are smaller, older cemeteries that a lot of people would have never known that they were there, I think the state of Georgia, and Mr. Coleman can correct me, that there's a little bit of protection when it comes to those cemeteries and moving them and not moving them. If at some point in time you think that may become an issue where people, are looking, well, nobody's taking care of the cemetery, let's move the individuals, let's do whatever. Then we need to make sure that there's a land use that's basically connected to where those properties are, although I'm not sure, I don't think many of them are going to be that big. You know, they're going to be so small you probably couldn't develop anything on it anyway, even if you did decide to move the graves. But anyway, this is it. Most of the commercial industrial is all pretty much centered around Cuthbert and Shellman, your incorporated areas. But we do have industrial marked, that's the gray, and commercial and others in the county. And here again, your development is with any community is going to be much more attractive when you have the public facilities available, like the water and the sewer. And of course, Cuthbert and Shellman have the water and the sewer, and they have some excess capacity. So it makes sense from a cost standpoint to have the majority of your industrial or commercial development inside the cities or right outside the city limit lines, where it's not that expensive to run utilities. You know, you're not running it 20 miles out, which gets you're running it a half a mile out. So anyway, and what we based the future land use map off of is your zoning categories that are in your zoning ordinance. So your zoning classifications, like medium density residential, that's what's in your zoning ordinance. We have a medium density residential future land use class on this map, so we matched them up. So they match. It's easy to go, oh yeah, okay, that says medium density, future land use map says medium density. They were all good. And that's the way you should do it. You should try to match it up to make it easier on y'all, because you don't want something that says, oh, by the way, future land use map shows this industrial, but the zoning map has commercial or residential. Well, you know, we try to avoid that. Not that it doesn't happen, but we do. And so anyway, I'll leave this here, and I know Patricia wanted to look at it, and we're going to make changes to it because she said she wanted 5 copies just because of the cemeteries. So, and we can do a map with just the cemeteries on it, nothing else. Enlarge the roads, do quads, whatever, it makes it easier for people to see it and to mark it. And, you could put one here in the Welcome Center, and we can make it look as nice as you want. So that's it.
Rick, I appreciate the work you've already done. Rick mentioned, I think the mayors, we met with him looking at this map, and that's really just a tool for us. We can change that map. We've done that with our zoning ordinances and the inclusions in it, but that does give somebody coming in here, want to see what's going on or possibly development. They've got an idea there of what we propose for the future. We don't know it'll stay that way.
In my experience, the last, it's been over 30 years now. Where's the time gone? In my experience, when people come in, even somebody like Diverse Power, and I live in LaGrange, that's the home base of Diverse Power, they look, and there's things they look at. One is, what's the stability of the commissioners or the council? Does everything seem to be well run? And then they look at the land use maps. Well, okay, what's the future land use map about that? You have a zoning ordinance, okay? Is there stability there on how you do zoning and how you come through it? And do you have some consistency? And y'all have all that. One of the things in the full body of the comp plan, and you get what I gave you, you'll see there's the issues and the needs and opportunities. I only printed out 2 of the sections. Community facility section, because that has all your buildings listed. I want to make sure that's right. And the transportation section. And I printed out the population data and the transportation data for y'all to take a look at. The other parts of that are the land use, housing, and intergovernmental. And I just didn't make copies of all of that, trying to cut down on the paper. But anyway, in all of that, you have the needs and you have the opportunities. And with any of these businesses, when they come in, they look to see how it all matches up. And one of the things I'm going to add to an opportunity, I just thought of on this as I was coming down and being late. So I was thinking about y'all. I've worked in a lot of different counties, and I'm just just talking about our region, but the other regions. But y'all are blessed to have the leadership in the county and the commissions that you have in Randolph County. Mr. Bradley, Mr. Watley, and Paul. Y'all are blessed to have that, and the councils, and you gentlemen. I mean, you've got a good situation. And believe me, the companies that come in and people come in and they look at it. And so kudos to you all. I'm going to have the plan. I've got to have it ready completely and finished up. We're just finishing out the narrative and putting it all together. I'm finishing some of the data tables, which I can do that at home off the computer, like just basic number of housing units, things like that, making sure all that's right. I'm trying to submit it up to the state next week. I didn't know if y'all thought once I get the complete package done with all the narrative and everything, I mean, it's 90% of the way. If y'all wanted me to try to schedule something next week, a general meeting that anybody could attend if they wanted to, I would try to do that on Tuesday or Wednesday at the library. It doesn't have to be a public meeting. I mean, I would just come down and put out flyers or something like that, and then just have it in the library in a more relaxed setting, or if anybody wanted to attend and come, they could. I just throw that out there to you in case y'all want to do that.
I think we should. And this page right here that's got draft on it, Rick, this is the one we looked at a number of times.
Yes, sir.
Well, my comments didn't make it to you, but you'll have them for you there here in this building. But
That's fine.
if any of you look at it and see an addition or change, what we tried to do is what's been in the past. I think it was an exercise to see how many lines they could fill up on this thing about things we might do. And what we did with this one is we pared it back down to the things that we could know that we have either voted on or are voting on, for instance, roads, water systems, anything we know within the next 5 years that we got to address one way or the other. We tried to put it in here and take out the stuff that was just verbiage. But if any of you see anything else, and I did see 2 or 3 others that we didn't talk about the other day.
Okay.
After I was reading. But if y'all will, if you want to make any notes on it and get it to Lori, we can shoot it up there to Rick to add to it.
To add to what the chairman said, that the original document, that was five pages. 5.5 pages, somewhere in there. And now that's pared down to
2.5 roughly.
2.5, and that's with some spaces in it. So, I mean, it's much leaner, and it's very particular to exactly what you want to do. Some of the other things that the chairman was talking about that were taken out, the state still has these. They're called quality community objectives. And if I check to know what a quality community objective, and most of this really applies to metropolitan areas, if I check to know, well, then that became an issue because you weren't doing it, and then that had to become a work item in your work program. And that works real well in Atlanta because 90% of the things in the quality community objectives are more appropriate to Atlanta or Columbus or Augusta, but not necessarily to our rural areas. And so that's what we were able to strike out and take down and pare down and make this thing a little bit easier to read.
Something we intend to do.
That's right. And Mr. Chairman, is there a day that you think might work best next week? I really would like to do it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I know Wednesday's church, but
If you do it in the morning on Wednesday, it might be a better day.
okay. And where would you think would be a good place to hang it? Here at the courthouse in the...
We've got the jury room down there that you can talk in a lot easier.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll print up some flyers and I'll put those around town here and some at Shelton and here in Cuthbert. And I'll just give Lori a good time. And then that way anybody that's here, obviously they'll be aware of what day we're looking at. And then we'll go from there. So.
And as this is a public hearing, if any of you have any comments for Rick or us, we would open the floor up to you.
I want to ask a question. Is this going to be
they want it to be 3 separate plans, but there's a lot of them, and that all the demographic stuff, all the text from the housing all the way down to community facilities, all of that will be in everybody's plan. What's going to be separated out is your existing land use, future land use, that will just be in the Cutler plan, the Shelton plan, and the Randolph plan, and then the Grove plans. That way, everybody has a little bit of, I don't want to say ownership, but everybody can go, well, this is our plan, and this is our plan. But like I said, the first 60% of it's all going to be the same. The last 40% is where it gets divided out into individual plans.
But I didn't hear what you were saying about the next meeting.
Yes, sir. I thought given, A, one, I was late, and two, once I had the finished document all together, and here's all the critical components today, that I would just go ahead and put flyers in downtown Rutherford and Shelton, just advertising meet and greet the next Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever everybody would think is appropriate in the morning somewhere, and donate it in the Thursday.
Or just Randolph County or all three?
For all of them, I would take those flyers and Shelton and here and Cutler. And it would be, since we have a crowd here, can we just say Tuesday, Mr. Chairman? Does that?
It's fine with me. Jimmy? I think you need to set it. Tuesday is fine, and those that can be there will be there. It won't be a meeting as such. The commissioners won't have to attend as a meeting. But if any of us want to come and make comments on, because you're going to have the final thing printed we can look at.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tuesday's all right.
What time would you like? Would be is 5 o'clock? Is that?
Well, as Ms. Wilson asked earlier, if we set it for 5 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, that gives anybody a chance to get off work and come by here.
Okay.
So,
There's a meeting in Fort Gaines Tuesday afternoon at 5 to 7. 7 senators talk about rural development. I don't know if anybody plans to go to that or not. I'm trying to find out more about it, but there's 7 Georgia senators going to Fort Gaines Tuesday from 5 to 7 to talk about rural development. And I'm trying to find out what Brady Policy was supposed to call me this morning. Tell me what's going on with that.
I hadn't heard anything about it.
Ronnie Crozier told me about it yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and he had not heard about it until the last minute, so he's trying to get word out to all the adjoining counties to come, because, they need to have people to talk to.
And that's Tuesday afternoon from 5 to 7.
It's at the community center in Fort Gaines.
Okay. Then I think we're probably back to Wednesday, Rick.
That's fine. Is Wednesday
I think Wednesday would be okay,
at 5?
because I wouldn't mind going to that too if we can find out about it. Okay. All right.
All right, so Wednesday at 5.
Yeah.
I'll try. I don't know when the church morning starts at 6. But probably it's not going to go over an hour, I'm sure.
I doubt it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So what time?
5.
5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon downstairs.
Anybody have anything else? Can I get a brief recap?
Yeah.
The comprehensive plan process, it began over a year and a half ago, basically. And the 2 critical components is the community work program, and that's a 5-year document that the state requires in the plans. And it's basic stuff. It involves community facilities, transportation, land use, housing, what do you want to do? And whether it's Cuthbert, Shelton, or Randolph, most of the projects relate to infrastructure, improving water, sewer, roads, Cuthbert sidewalks, Shelton sidewalks, for those programs. Cuthbert wants to continue on not only with their street drainage and sewer work that they're doing, but also housing. They want to continue their housing rehab program, which we've done on several of the neighborhoods over the last 4 or 5 years. Sheldon is road paving. They have a water tank that they need to repair. I mean, it's about $150,000. So, we're working on a grant for that. But also, there's some recommendations to DOT about some signage out where, I want to say here, it's not me saying to US Highway 82 National. But they had, DOT had some visitors in Shelton, and they never knew that there was a restaurant in Shelton. This was just last week. They did the back porch for there. They really enjoyed the back porch. So they made a recommendation to me, and then I called Paul and said, hey, you really ought to work on getting some decorative signage out that way. And said, it would be 5 items on a piece of wood that wide, Right. Well, we probably don't want to do big things other, but maybe we can slow down. We'll have to have the police chief create another speed over there down to 15 so people can read it. But it's just to let people know that, hey, there's stuff in here. Like the grain bins that there's you'd be surprised at people that are just driving around and they'll see it. And then maybe they stop and maybe they find something.
Do you have a copy of this?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Because that's what it's in, a lot of stuff around here is in here.
And the things that we have in the economic development section, we're trying to take out of that. And that document is also referenced in the plan. And it'll be, I'd like to make it, I thought about making an entire copy of it and putting it in back of the comp plan, each one, but that's too much paper.
We have a link to that.
Or a link.
There's a link. I can send it to you.
Okay, just send me the links, both the documents.
Is this state funded or is it federal funded?
When you say this, that, or
What you do?
this is state. We used to charge for it, and then part of our Georgia Department of Community Affairs contract, they say y'all got to do the contract. And so it comes out. It doesn't. We used to have to charge Randolph years ago. They paid $15,000 for a plan. The city's 8 or 7, and you're still paying for it because it all comes from taxes, but it's not directly coming out of their pocket, which is good. So,
Now, what two links do you want? I can send you a link to that, but I don't know the link you're talking about.
we have the link to the sets. We also have to send me that link. Was there another plan now? The road and all.
But it's not finished.
Once say well, it'll be.
I sent you a link.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I was there till 7:30, so
it was that.
I probably don't want to look at it, probably was scared. But anyway, but that's the gist of it. Here in Cuthbert, they want to do some streetscape work, and we need to talk about in Cuthbert doing a preliminary analysis of some possible bike pedestrian path where you can link city-owned property that's not been developed, and the same thing with Shelton, and especially with college here, college things like that. But anything we can do to get people walking, make it easier for people walking, get people help here. Let me put it to you this way. I don't know how the city of Cuthbert and Shelton would react, but I guess if you want to Roger, yeah, I don't know if you want Roger Warshaw, I'm sure Steve probably does. I'm not quite sure. But that is something that's not particularly what we were looking at in this case. Not everybody has doors, but everybody, I mean, I grew up with doors, so, but everybody has two days to go through their use to walk and do it. But anyway, that's basically it for any other, I'm Rick Morris with the Development Commission. Like I said, I had it all back Wednesday at 5 downstairs here, and please come to me if you have any questions. Yes, ma'am. Sure is.
They still don't have an email. Did you say that you have any picture? If you'll send me the document when you finish, I can forward it to their email.
Okay, I will.
And we can make a copy and have it available here.
Okay. I'll do that. I'm sorry, ma'am. In the short-term work program, it's not called the community work program. In the community work program, there are certain roads that I mentioned for paving in the county, and that's the first item in the community work program is the roads that the commission has looked at over the last several years, wanting to get paved. And some of the TIF money that they get now, we're able to do incrementally, do a mile here, a mile there, that sort of thing. And that's the continuation. But another interesting part, that's part of the plan, the tourism plan, they talked about using some of those county dirt roads, and the people that ride the, not the street bikes, but the off-road dirt bikes, not motorized. They love dirt roads. Using that to advantage in some cases as far as promoting those and getting those individuals that love to ride on dirt trails and things like that. But believe me, the county has a nice list of road paving projects. When I talked to Chairman Bradley, the first thing he said was roads. So that's big on the agenda.
Well, I don't know if my question is, what is the criteria on the agenda to do these roads? First,
You mean how do they determine those roads?
yes.
You would ask the chairman that. I don't make that determination. I just ask them, okay, which roads would be there? And so we put that down. So I'm not on that.
And Rick, you'll see they're not on this right now, but you haven't seen it, but my comments include some additional lines on here to do with some graveling work and also some of the dirt roads that we're addressing. So I've added some to what I thought we didn't talk about that day.
Is there anything else? I know these benches are hard.
Mention what?
I said these benches are hard. So.
Yeah. No, when you mentioned it, you gotta go about the back porch, and that's part of the issues, but the back porch has been there for a few years, and that's why I said, can you see that because it's there?
I never knew it was there. I just said, hey, this back porch is good. It's
So if you
located.
get on Sunday, you can't get in.
It's a good place to eat. Very nice. And I'm going to give this, I'm going to leave this here to Matt. As you can see on the future land use map, all that brown area, that's agriculture. It's agricultural land use is what we say that's probably that's what that's for. It's existing farms and timber. And some may not be done commercially, but if it had all trees on it in the houses, we could have said it. So you can see that's 90%. I'm going to do what I did today. I'm going to have the city work program with me as well. But what I did today was basically just bring the county stuff. For that meeting on Wednesday, they don't have everything. They don't have all the city stuff. Both shall have land use maps. And I'm going to put Pat for the visits.
Okay.
No Pat.
Rick, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be ready Wednesday. Okay. That will conclude our public hearing. We'll move on now to our minutes. Does anybody have any? We've got several minutes there. Any questions or notations? I have one. I'm on page 5. Y'all will look. And it's the work I did at the closed landfill. I know I was here, but I don't remember what we talked about stumps. Top paragraph. Page 5, the first regular meeting on August the 8th. Page 5 at the top, under work idea for the closed landfill. Last sentence says, also need authorization to submit paperwork for stumps.
I think that was for the grinding of the limbs and so forth that at the landfill. Isn't that correct? We have the
believe so.
yard debris that we have to, that's ruled by permit, is that right?
Right.
And the other was, we didn't have to have a permit, but we had to submit paperwork to have the limbs that somebody discussed a while ago ground up once or twice a year.
Right.
But we had to submit paperwork to the state for that.
Right. And it's limbs, stumps, and yard trimmings, I think is how they listed it in the paperwork. But we
Okay.
can correct that to add.
I just was curious, we limited it down, and
Do y'all want to change that stumps to yard trimmings?
I think
it's limbs, stumps, the bigger items.
the debris.
Because that's what had to be ground. The yard trimmings was going to be covered. if I'm
Yes.
correct.
Okay.
That's the one we had to have the permit for, if I'm correct.
Okay. All right. With that change in wording, any other comments? Do I hear a motion that we accept the minutes? And that would be for August 8th, August 11th, August 17th, August 30th, and September the 7th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of August the 8th, 2017 regular meeting, August 11th, 2017 call meeting, August 17th, 2017 Board of Election meeting, August 30th, 2017 call meeting, and the September 7th, 2017 call meeting.
Here a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And y'all take care of that, just changing the words there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, our next item will be our financial reports. Lori?
We should be at 71% for right now, so speeding, we're at 70%, so we're actually better on speeding. The uncollected revenues is short on that, but most of our revenues collected at the end of the year and the first half of the year. We're on that.
Better in line though on our spending.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Do I hear a motion that we accept the treasurer's report and authorize them to continue paying our bills?
I make a motion to approve the financial reports and authorize the finance department to continue paying the county bills as accrued.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll move on to old business. Ben is not here, and he did not leave his data with us, and that was where we asked Ben to get us an additional price on those gates. I don't know if he has it or not, but we'll have to put this on October. Okay. Next item is the Division of Family and Children's Services has 2 vacancies. They asked us to fill these vacancies, but Laurie has been trying to get some. Basically, what they want is credentials for individuals. Last time they didn't want us just to appoint somebody. They had to have certain degrees or experience. But we've not been able to get that information back from them. So we are still looking for 2 folks to serve on the Family and Children's Services from the county, for the county.
That's the one you have to go to.
No, sir, they actually meet here, I think, down next to where Ken's office is. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they meet here in the county. And our last member was Dr. Peter Vermeulen, the minister at the Methodist Church. When he left,
And Miss Bobby Foster.
and Miss Bobby Ray Foster, the 2 of them are off of the committee now, and we need to replace them.
We need somebody from the public or everybody.
I think it's a public matter, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you asking commissioners? I think it has to be somebody.
Oh, yes, yeah.
If it's okay with the board, that page that I created, the message board on Facebook, I can put this on there to see if we can find people who are interested in serving. If that's all right with y'all.
It is, and if anybody in the audience is aware of anybody that you think might be interested, if you will submit your name to Lori or their name, we will talk to them, and we'll put this back on the October agenda, but we will make contact with them to make sure they're willing to serve.
What do you need, once a month?
I think that's correct.
Yes, sir.
All righty. We'll go from there to the public defender contract. Laura, you want to address that?
Yes, sir. The contract for the public defender is kind of a preventative contract. There's been several lawsuits filed with smaller counties. There's a group out there that is filing, what do you call the suits when? Class action suits. Is that it, Mr. Tommy?
That's when they have a lot of them.
Right. They're filing class action suits against smaller counties who do not have public defenders in traffic court. This contract is with a member of the public defender's office, Brandy Rios, I believe is how you pronounce her name. It's for $300 a month. We pay the DA's office $250 a month to prosecute the cases. So now they're wanting us to provide public defenders, so the $300 a month would be for a public defender for traffic violations, when somebody contests a traffic violation.
And this will be with the Randolph County Probate Court.
Yes, sir.
We gave this out last time and asked everybody to take a look at it. What is our wishes?
Do we have much choice?
Well, you're in jeopardy if you don't have an attorney available for indigent defendants, even though it's a traffic violation. How that's all started in Alabama. It's a case called Alabama v. Sheffield, where this guy had a misdemeanor offense, and the judge fined him $50. Everybody goes home, but he doesn't pay. So the judge then issued a bench warrant for him, and he ended up in jail, not paying $50. He sued, and the Supreme Court ultimately ruled that you have to make available a public defender for anybody even though the initial contact with the court would not result in them being incarcerated, they may become incarcerated later. And so small courts have put in public defenders and consequently also put in prosecutors. It's certainly something I think you need to do.
So we already have one public defender for felonies and so forth?
We have one for Superior Court, yes, sir.
Okay, so
And
this
we
is
pay
a
that.
separate court that this goes to?
Well,
This
it's
would
the
go
same
to-
group of people, I think, isn't it? But it's just
well, she
be in our
works-
probate court as well as
Yeah.
so the jurisdictions. The Superior Court doesn't hear these traffic violations and misdemeanor violations and stuff like
Separate
that.
court, I got you. So we got to pay to defend them and to prosecute them.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Life's gotten real complicated.
And feed them if we have to lock them up.
We don't really want to lock up a lot of people for traffic offenses, do we, Sheriff? If we help them.
No.
I guess we don't have much choice, Judge.
But I still need a motion.
Yeah, either that or a lawsuit. $300 a month is a hell of a lot cheaper than a lawsuit. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way it's protected.
All right, I make a motion we approve this contract with the public defender for traffic cases,
And
or
authorize-
probate court,
Probate court.
or whatever.
Yes, sir. And we have a second. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And we need to let Tony know we've done this.
Yes, sir, I'll do that today.
Okay, then we're gonna go to any other old business. All right, let's move on down to new business. And the first one is agreement with the enrichment services. And I believe this is the same agreement we've had every year. We just redo it. Is that not correct?
No, sir, this is enrichment services, not New Horizons.
New Horizons?
This is enrichment services. This is Miss Pam over at the Neighborhood Service Center.
By the,
And this is a contract we've never had before.
you sure?
$0.
Right, it's a $0 contract. But what she told me was that she had contracts with other counties, but one had never been done with Randolph County, so that's why she wanted to do one with Randolph County. And I don't recall ever having a contract for enrichment services.
They had provisions in here for indemnity insurance, and they indemnify the county, and also you can require them to buy insurance satisfactory to your needs.
And they are going to take care of pest control, HVAC maintenance, and also utilities, electrical, water. I really thought we already had this with the previous lady that was down there, but we don't. Sum of $1,000 per year, not costing us anything.
Probably want to really put $1 in there instead of zero. You've got to have what's called consideration to make your contract valid. So you can't have a contract for nothing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we just need to change that $0 to $1
per year.
Okay. Well, with that discussion and that recommended change, I'll make a motion that we accept this agreement and change the figure to $1.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay. The next item is in relation to a road name, and when they first started talking to us, I sure did not recollect the fact that we own this piece of property. And this is actually the driveway that goes in at the Huddle House, goes back to the motel and dead ends. And that property was given to the county, and the county did sign off for it. And how we got into this about a month ago, there were some extremely large holes in that road. I mean, big holes. And they were asking us to patch them. Well, my answer first was that that's part of your parking lot. We can't patch that. And it was brought to our attention, and we actually went down, looked at Bob's maps. The fact is, it is our road. And one of the things that we've got to do is probably some striping in there and some parking signs to guide those big trucks. Sometimes they're parking all out in the road, which is a road. It's not a parking lot. We did fix the holes, but we need to, and I think I'd like to plant that thought today. We need to talk to Wesley and Steve and let them know we need to select a name for that road. But I believe I'd like to see all of us be here to do it.
What's the name of the road?
Name the little old short road. It's about 200 yards long.
Now, I do know that the guy that owns the Huddle House, I think his name is Sonny, asked if he could submit a recommendation for a name for that road. I think he wants to name it after his wife or something like that. Is that something we can do? Can we take recommendations?
Completely within discretion of the county to name the trucks.
Okay.
So y'all can do. There are some things you got to do. Of course, you got to talk to E911, your ambulance and fire, share sites, make sure everybody knows.
And I think I've notified all of them that it is a public road.
They'll know where to go if something happens. If somebody uses a different name.
Yeah.
Runs off in dirt, back right past the motel.
Not too sure why y'all have this, but we do. That's your point.
1996 is when we got it. Okay, so we're going to bring that back up in October. I think it's a good idea to let them know we would consider their name.
Okay.
And make sure that Ben is aware with the code enforcement too. And we'll try to pick a name because we're going to have to. It's a shame we've already got a map done now. We're getting one will have a name on it, but we just finished the nice. Patricia did the new maps for the county that we got all the names on. But we'll hold that for the next one. But we'll do this in October, and again ask them to give us some ideas. Okay. Our next item is a potential ordinance that establishes the rules and regulations for cell towers in the unincorporated areas of Randolph County. And I think I'm going to default to you to discuss that a little.
Okay. Ben called and asked something. You guys, commissioners, will remember, maybe a month ago, a little bit longer, that we had kind of an application for a cell tower just outside the city limits, and the county came up, kind of hit us in the face, and nobody really knew much about it. So Ben asked that I prepare something for y'all to consider. We're not ready to vote on it today. We'd have to have a public hearing. It's amendment to the zoning ordinance about where cell towers can go. And there's really only limited things that you can do because the federal government and the state government have preempted counties. You know, the lobbyists for these wireless companies are pretty powerful. So they're really kind of, the word is preempted. So there's a federal regulation of this, there's a state regulation. So you have just kind of limited jurisdiction, but you can limit, put like this provides, you put a fence around them. If it's a certain height, they're going to put a light on it, what color it can be, so there's no advertising on it, that kind of thing. And some discussion about where we want to go. And so I think Ben would like for y'all to read through this. This is, and then we'll have, if you want to go forward with it, we'll schedule a hearing, and then y'all can adopt it.
Any questions?
It's not going to give you absolute power to determine where they are and where they're not. Because, as I said, your right-of-way is in some ways been preempted by the federal government, state government.
Okay. So we will, this is for information, we'll get a copy to Wesley and to Steve.
Correct.
And
you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
But Ben thought that you ought to do it, or you at least ought to look at something, because we didn't really have anything. We couldn't either prohibit or require them to do anything. It was just what it was. I don't think, luckily it didn't seem to be very intrusive. If it were, you don't have any way to regulate it now because we have no ordinance about it. And that was his worry.
okay, let's all bring these back with us to October. We can have a good chance to read it. I think Lamar might have, some distances in there. We need to, Laurie, we can get that to Tommy. We might even need to reprint this with the numbers. The height, it was at 200 foot in there. Okay. Everybody okay with that? All right, we're going to move on then to the DOT and a request for revising speed limits in Randolph County.
We got this letter from DOT, and they're in the process of revising existing speed limits on routes and bringing them into compliance with present regulations. They said a new ordinance for Randolph County has been prepared for your convenience. And when you're approving this, you're also approving it for the use of speed detection devices also. So, and I gave a copy of this to the sheriff to look at. This was fine with you?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing you need to argue with DOT about.
No, not at all.
The biggest change is upping the speed limit on part of 4-lane 27, is that correct? Going from 55 to 65?
Right.
And that's just part of it, not just basic. It slows down on the bypass area.
Once you go through the light, it picks back up to 65 when you get outside the church about the railroad tracks. It'll pick back up to 65. Now, on the north, on the south end, it's all the way down to 55.
Always down there, make it.
And all the way to like 55. They have fixed out and made it 65 yet.
I think it turns to 65 when you pass the county line.
That playground line.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Oh, you meant Randolph County, yeah.
right.
Typically, they hold a speed limit of 55 for a year after a road's 4-lane, and then they up it to 65 in the rural areas.
Right.
That's what I've noticed as I travel around.
So we need to vote to accept this.
Not this one.
I don't think we have an awful lot of.
That's another thing you don't have any choice.
That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I hear a motion that we accept this list of roadways for Randolph County and the rural areas and the speed limit set by the state.
I make a motion we approve the speed zone ordinance for Randolph County as presented by the state.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next thing we'll go to the Development Authority appointees. You want me to say just a little bit? I got a call Friday afternoon about these positions on the Southwest Georgia Regional Development Authority. And they could not find in their minutes down there where we had reappointed our members. And of course, I was on the road right outside of Waycross, so I didn't have much opportunity to talk to anybody till I got back. But we have looked at our records, and we cannot find. Our two members are Patricia Goodman and Walter Maddox, and have been. And it was, if you had asked me without that phone call, I would have said, yes, we have reappointed them. I cannot remember, and we've gone back and looked at the minutes, and at this point, we can't find it. So what they've asked us to do in that event is that we reappoint these two members, and one of them is for 2 years and the other for 3 years. Is that right, Patricia?
This first time I heard about it.
Yeah, but I think that's correct, so that everybody's not appointed at the
We've
same.
been serving on it,
You don't meet?
but we meet on the 12th. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'll find out.
I think we at this point need a motion to reappoint them.
Y'all willing, sir?
I know.
Okay. I make a motion to appoint Patricia Goodman and Walter Maddox back to the Development Authority.
In a second. Any other discussion? And we need to call Walter too, Lori, and remind him this.
I don't think he knows it. I mean, I don't know anything about it.
Well, oddly, I got another call yesterday, and it was from Mr. Eddie Watson. And now the first call I got Friday told me that we were the only ones that hadn't done this. Well, Eddie called me back yesterday to say, that's not true. If you get it done tomorrow, you'll be the first one that's done it. The other counties have not done this either. And this apparently was a report that had to be turned in to the state about the membership on this board. And they could not find anything in hard copy from any of the counties where it had been done. So what we're going to do is send them a copy of the minutes where we've reappointed you, and they also ask if we send them a letter from the county with a letterhead saying these are the two individuals that we have reappointed because y'all have been meeting with them a long time. So we're not appointing them, we're reappointing them. I did vote, didn't I? Did we
No,
vote?
you didn't call for a vote.
Okay. So everybody in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. We'll take care of that with them. And they may bring it up at your next meeting.
Well, I'm sure they will.
Okay. Our next item, I'm going to turn it over to you, Lori. This is a heating and cooling problem.
Yes, sir. Unit number 11 at the Government Center. I believe this is one that services the courtroom over at the Government Center. This is the third time the compressor has went out on this system. So if we replace just the compressor, this will be the third time we replaced it. So I asked them to give me a price on replacing the unit and changing it from the Aeon unit that we've had so much trouble with to the carrier. We've done that on one other unit, and we had talked about trying to change all of these out as they needed to be changed out to carrier units and moving away from those Aeons. The price on the carrier 3-ton split heat pump system is $6,327. And the price for the compressor is $2,564. I kind of think since we've already put 3 compressors in this unit, it might be time to change the unit itself. What are y'all's thoughts on that? We had Control Climate was doing the air conditioning work over there for quite some time, and then we contracted with Parker's to do the maintenance over there, and they found this problem on one of their routine maintenance checks that the compressor was going out in it.
That was the reason why.
Right.
I'm saying.
Actually,
Too much motor going over.
Sir?
Sound like too much motor going to over.
We've had problems with those Aeon units for a long time.
yeah, this is actually about the third group that's worked on those things.
Was there a group before
Yes.
Control Climate?
Yeah, the ones that put them in there.
Well, since Parker's has done some work on them, we haven't had a whole lot of trouble. It's been a lot better over there, hasn't it, Bob?
I think we stand here at the courtroom with hot lamp.
Right. That courtroom has 4 different units that control the temperature inside the courtroom. So you have to have all 4 of them working and all 4 of them running at the same temperature, or it gets pretty bad in there.
And there's a grand jury room tied into all that too.
I believe so. The grand jury room is tied into the courtroom units, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Is part of our contract for the maintenance with Parker, does that require us to buy any kind of replacement from them?
It doesn't.
I know it'll make things work smoother if they
Yeah.
diagnose this problem. Because you start mixing A and B together and you get 0.
If you're going to
That's what's
have,
happened already.
yeah, and if you're going to have them doing maintenance on it and you buy the unit from somebody
Somebody
else,
else.
then the warranty is with somebody
Yeah.
else, and it gets
I
way too
understand.
confusing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just, I knew we had a policy about getting bids for prices and stuff, but
Right.
if it'll solve headaches, it ain't working the money.
Right.
So we need a motion to.
All right, I'll
Whether-
make a motion, we approve it for option 1 to install the 3-ton split heat pump for 3-phase system.
That's 6327.
Yeah, $6,327.
All right, do I hear a second on that? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Okay. All right, Sheriff, that puts you on the floor.
Good evening. I think we done talked about this thing several times.
Is that thing?
I don't think it's on. I'm not sure.
But we can hear you okay,
Y'all hear
Sheriff.
me? Okay,
Yes.
good. We done talked about this, me and Laura done discussed it, we done went over it. It's about the medical issue that we have at the jail. We contract with Dr. Giatti, and at first it was good contract, having a local doctor to come see our inmates. and everything, but after my third term, we started looking at the finance that it's costing us to operate medical, and me and Laura discussed it. After that, I spoke with this Southern Correction, and I think she pretty much brought it to y'all attention about them. And they come in and give us a quote, what they could do out of medical for. They pretty much gave us an offer of $82,500 a year. And that's $6,875 per month. Okay. Right now we're looking at Dr. Giatti at $99,000 a year.
How much?
99.
99.
99,000. Pretty much that's what he doing. He does about $8,250 a month. I believe that's what his pay is for that. But right now on our medical, and somewhere in between coming up from my first term to now to my third term, medical went crazy out there because we paying for all the medications and everything else. Where in his contract, reading over it, going back over it again last night, he said in his contract that he would take care of most of the cost, the coverage, including all medical and anything else, and pretty much we're not getting that. And I'm having a real hard time controlling the cash flow and the money in there because I got different people, different hands. So what we're looking at turning it over to one company, let that company take care of all of it. They'll take care of the medical, they'll take care of all the making arrangements for our mental patients. And as y'all know, we have a lot of those now. And like I say, that's for that $82,500 to see could we cut back on our medical, because right now medical is like $160,000 budget. That's just budget, but we already over that point. We $178,000 pretty much looking at my last budget. And that's well what we're supposed to be at for medical. The thing is, we hold for 3 different counties: Stewart County, Clay County, and Cookman County. When we hold for those counties, our medical bill is we paying Clay County medical bills, and we paying Stewart County medical bills. Somewhere between negotiation of the contracts when this thing kicked off with the combining the jail, we forgot somewhere to forget who's gonna do the medical and send the bills back out to different counties. And I think that's where most of our expenses coming from, because of the different counties that we hosted. Jail administrator, it wasn't put on her to send out the medical bills. So I come to Laura and talk to Laura about maybe having one on their ladies, because that medical, to send out those medical bills is gonna take about a full-time person to do it, because that's gonna be an everyday job. And that's what we're gonna have to figure out how to control. And this company here, pretty much, that I talked to and went over, I'm gonna talk to them again, they'll do all the medical, all the medications, full-time nurse, supervisor, dental care, what we don't have. That's a medical expense that we don't expect sometimes. We have to take these guys to the dentist and get their teeth pulled. We don't do no cleaning and mending and fixing. We just get them pulled. But we have to take them to the dentist and get them pulled. They're gonna have all that coverage for us, which Dr. Giatti do not cover our dental. I have to take them down to Early County, Blakely, to get dental work done most of the time up here to our dentist here. And that's cost. But they said they would cover our dental, and they're gonna decrease the security by the ER. Well, we try not to take them to the emergency room, but we don't have any way to do an EKG out to our building. This company gonna cover all that. That's gonna cut out medical leaving going to the emergency room. They'll do the EKGs locally. They'll do it out there. Like I said, they pretty much have a nurse for 24/7, and they said they'll pretty much cut out our emergency room cost, and that's what it costs. And it hit us pretty good. I talked to some different shafts about it. I spoke with Shaft Price over in Early County. He said the best thing he ever done. Spoke with Shaft out in Seminole County, and they pretty much happy with what they done. It was some bugs to work out in the beginning, but the cost is going down now on medical. Because when you got 60 inmates or better, the cost goes up. And we hold about 60 inmates monthly. You know, well, when Giatti had it, it was good because we were looking at 30 inmates when we signed these contracts with him in the old jail. At least 30 were more, that's more than we had. We usually have 15, 20 inmates. Medical costs went way down. But when you have 60 inmates, and right now I have 7 inmates that actually need mental health treatment.
And that mental health treatment is not included at all in Dr.
That's not
Giatti's.
included in all that Dr.
So-
Giatti. He helps us all he can to get them different places, but when I have a felony charge on them, they won't take them anywhere. I have to keep them here. And I have to have somebody to treat them right here. And it's not in his contract to treat them.
When does Dr. Giatti's contract expire?
Well, I signed it when I took over in I came in 13, but we did a new contract in 14. That's the last one we actually done because it's a contract that yearly term as long as we don't.
You know, the term is December 3rd or 1st.
Right. Well,
Yeah, and there's a clause in there, I think, and I can't remember if it's a 60-day notice or
it's a 60-day notice on it.
60-day notice.
You didn't go and give him notice. And then, then we get the contract. You're talking about, you and I talked a little bit about that.
You've already reviewed it and approved it.
I thought so. I'm sounding familiar, but it didn't.
We talked about it, and I think some of the commissioners had a problem with it because he's local,
Yeah.
he's friends, and I hope he stays my friend. I'm not mad with him, but I have to look at how to figure out how to cut costs on a lot of stuff that costs in this county. And this is something that costs in the county, and I have to try to figure out how to cut that cost.
And if I'm not mistaken, your inmate medical last year went over budget. You budgeted $150,000 or $160,000,
$160,000 budget.
and you ended up somewhere around $220,000.
Medical costs.
So you're spending way over on your
That's coming
medical
out, yeah, that's
expenses.
budget. I'm budgeted for that medical cost at $160,000 a year. And when they like to say, we went over last year with $200,000 medical. And that's just, it's just costing. And like I say, now it's getting to the point where mental health is costing us so much money.
But now, with this contract coming out, is anything else gonna come with an additional charge?
But the only thing we have to pay for out of this contract, and my understanding of it, reading it, we're gonna have to pay for those drugs that they don't have, like AIDS. If you have AIDS, we have to pay for that now. Yeah. So that'll cover our insurance, which we'll have to pay for that if you have AIDS. When we cover diabetics, but pretty much AIDS medicine, they don't cover that. They exclude that from it, and they tell you in the contract. And that's the only thing that we'll really have to pay for. They have contact with other medical companies that we don't have contact.
What personal counsel you gonna get? Y'all have to talk to people with counsel.
I haven't had any. I had one, and but he was on like Medicare, took care of most of that. So when we filed that, when we have it, or when they come in with it, we file it, and they pretty much Medicare pretty much continue to take care of it. And like I say, the biggest thing about this contract that we are looking at is going to help cover our mental patients. See, when you go to deal with mental patients, and you have nobody to take it. Like I told Lori, you know, that glass that sits in our room that he broke out, that thing about that thick with wire, and he hit it with his hand and busted it. And we have to replace that. And when you deal with mental patients, it becomes, so we can get to a point where we can have somebody to come in and see them and kind of keep them calm while we're there and give them the right medication. They'll be fine.
And along with that, you have those, like when he busted out that, he had to go to the emergency room, he had to have his hand x-rayed, the EMS had to come out there, so they had to transport him to the emergency room. So you've got the EMS bill, you've got the emergency room bill that the county's all responsible for.
Yeah.
This company here does x-rays, echocardiograms.
They pretty much do everything on site.
Yeah, the only time they send anybody to the emergency room
It's gotta
is...
be if they actually showing, when they do the EKG, that they showing a heart attack possibly,
Right.
then we have to take them to the ER.
And so it's going to save us a lot of emergency room visits.
You're telling me the trigger date is 60 days, October 1.
I believe so.
So you got to do it today. Is that what we're saying? So you can get him a notice by October 1st.
Yeah, can I just use one of your other notices? And
Sure, yeah. We can do that. Yeah, that's, I was just trying to emphasize the emphasis that y'all may have to make a decision right here. And just because you give him notice don't mean you're actually not going to do it. You understand what I mean?
Right.
But I think you got to give him that notice so you can consider the other thing the sheriff is proposing. Otherwise, you're going to be in another contract with Dr. Gotti for another year.
Okay.
And I like to speak with the lady again, the young lady that came to visit me. I like to speak with her. I got some questions for her because I don't want to go into something that's going to cost the county an issue. But I still have a couple of questions for her also. But she called me yesterday. I spoke with her yesterday. She would come down.
Sheriff, do we need to amend the contracts with all the other counties that you do business with to provide that they pay the medical expenses?
Do they?
Do we need to amend the contracts with like Stewart and Clay and Whitman that they're going to have to
They have to pay their own medical because
that provides you with
that give me some breathing room. Yeah.
There's a lot of confusion about that. One thing I think might help us out if we go with this, if we could set a rate for medical care for inmates for each inmate you pay X amount of dollars for medical care, since this company covers so many aspects of medical care, and then anything that we have to pay for beyond, if they have to go to the emergency room, that county's responsible for that emergency room bill. But let some of the other counties share in the expense of the medical.
But that's what me and you talk about.
Right.
You know, instead of doing one thing, what we do when we send out the housing bill, along with the medical bill, we amend our contract with the county saying that it's going to be a $250 or better added on to your housing bill, and that's going to cover your medical in some kind of way.
Right. And then any emergency room visits or specialty medicines that are not covered, then that county has to pay for that inmate.
Because when this thing actually started, I know Ben was the interim county manager at the time, I think, and him and Shaf Yokum and all put all that, what's this cost going to be, and who's going to do the billing to this cost. And I never came back and changed it when I came in, and I think it was said somewhere that Stewart County didn't have no insurance, Whitman didn't have no, it was Clay County that didn't have any insurance, and that we would cover it.
Clay County actually had it and then dropped it.
And
then we were going to cover it for Clay County and bill them individually, and it's just gotten all messed up. And we're working on getting that straightened out. But
Okay. So let me ask Sheriff Tommy, what we need to do now is a motion to authorize the sheriff and Lord to notify Dr. Giotti we're giving him his 60-day notice, and then hopefully maybe you could get this person you're talking with to come to our October meeting. At that time, then we could vote to accept the contract. We don't want to do that today.
No, we just need to get it in line. No, I'm not looking for it today. It's just, we need to get it in line and look at it.
Okay.
And, yes, I have her to try to schedule to be here in October meeting.
Okay.
When is, what day?
Y'all comfortable with that? So we need a motion then to authorize Lori to give him a 60-day notice.
October what now? 10.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we authorize Lori, the county administrator, to give Dr. Gowdy his 60-day notice on potentially not renewing his contract.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
I got a question, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
It's not going to make this $160,000 medical budget line item go away, but it's hopefully going to reduce it.
Hopefully we can reduce it back to that.
So there will
not more than that $160,000.
There will be some charges, as you mentioned, like some drugs and stuff like that will be in that 160, but it hopefully won't be
See that?
200,000.
It was paying him, I think, the way they looked at it when they done it, to pay him $99,000 a year and $60,000 to cover any other expenses. Is what they was looking at when they done this, and to try to make sure that we have enough to cover emergency costs. Like if I do have to go to the hospital, but that's covering that. Plus you have to look at when we take a inmate to the hospital, to the yard, to sit for 4 hours to try to get him sit somewhere. I'm also paying a deputy overtime to sit there with him for 4 hours. So it's costing both ways. And this way I won't have to have a deputy to go to the yard unless it's.
So if any of them have to go to the hospital, they'll take care of the paperwork and everything, get it transferred on.
They'll take care of everything that needs to be done to get him in the hospital before we take him anywhere.
All right. Anybody else got any questions for the sheriff? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along, we're down to reports from any county representatives.
I think y'all have an update. I believe you do. It's been kind of crazy in our office the last few weeks. So.
Just these.
Yes, sir. We have 4-H week coming up next week, so we'll be flying some flags and doing some things around town. We've got some rock hunting going on one day to get in that phase. And then we'll have a Celebrate National Science Day on Wednesday, and then we'll have a little 4-H reception on Friday afternoon at the office. And I think all of that is in there. We just took one of our newsletters and made it just the information that was coming up. And our forestry judging team, we had that competition this past week. Those two teams both placed first thanks to Mr. Jimmy and Jim and Tom Smith who coached that team. And the 9th through 12th graders will go on the state competition on Saturday in Brazelton. I can never say that. Brazelton, Georgia. I think it's between Rock Eagle and Athens, maybe. I'm not really sure where it is. 3 hours and a half, though. So they will go there on Saturday to compete. And then we have our next fall forestry meeting coming up on October the 31st. And Jason has put that together. And we have Dr. David Warhead coming, Ken Parker from the Georgia Forestry Commission, and then Ken Burns is going to talk about first aid preparedness and the AED use. And then Colby Ray from the Georgia Department of Public Safety is coming. So I'm going to leave this. These are all the speakers and people that are coming to that. I think that's all that we have going on.
I'd like to wish those kids that are going up there. I think Tom told me that thing may be north of Atlanta, actually.
It's actually on 85 North Athens.
Okay, I was thinking it was between
Up the mountain, didn't it?
With a big
Well,
board there.
No, this is not,
Racetrack there.
this is not, Brasstown Ball. It's
No,
Brayton.
it's not that far. It's not in the mountains yet, but, it's on 85, before you, if you've left Atlanta before you get to Athens. There's a big lodge up there.
Okay.
This is the state arboretum. We moved it, first year we've ever moved it from Rock Eagle, so,
Yeah.
I thought y'all was.
new place.
Horseshoe,
Sir,
Kevin Horseshoe. You said Horseshoe?
forestry judging competition
Oh,
for the state.
okay.
It's a-
But we did hear about the hog show last week,
with that-
and we're gonna host it again in our county this year. It's supposed to be Lee County's turn, and they have had turnover in their administration, so we're gonna have it back in our county this year. For the hog show. You know, we've been rotating it,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we're working on plans for that.
You need this done, don't you?
Yes, sir, I forgot about it.
You want to read this one?
National 4-H Week Proclamation. Whereas the young people of Georgia and Randolph County are our greatest natural resource, and whereas the 4-H program has assisted in growth and development of Georgia and Randolph County youth for 113 years, and whereas adult volunteer leaders and advisors are devoting their talents, their leadership, and resources to serving these leaders of tomorrow, and whereas 4-H helps its members discover and acquire the essential elements of positive youth development of mastery, generosity, belonging, and independence in the areas of leadership, citizenship, healthy living, and science. And whereas Randolph County is Georgia 4-H and entices young people and adults to become involved in the educational and entertaining programs offered by the 4-H program in Randolph County through the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences Cooperative Extension. Now therefore, we, the Board of Commissioners of Randolph County, do declare and proclaim the week of October 1st through 7th, 2017 to be Randolph County 4-H Week, and to urge all our citizens to assist in according this observance the attention and importance to which it is so rightly entitled. In testimony whereof I subscribe in my name this 28th day of September 2017, Mr. Jimmy Bradley, Chairman, Randolph County Board of Commissioners. That was a mouthful.
I didn't want to read it.
I see why.
Tell the kids you're part of the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, and they're going,
Yeah.
what's that?
Dead pen.
Dead people.
Here, I got one. I had to just fix mine though.
That's the little work.
That's the best thing to do with it. Thank you, Chris. And for those people, you need to take this, or we're going to put it in the paper.
We will need,
Either way, y'all keep it, and then I'll just get it later.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Lori. Short and sweet, right?
Short and sweet, yes, sir. CDBG update. I'm not sure if we've notified everybody that the CDBG was not granted to Randolph County this year, so we lost out on that opportunity. River Valley is supposed to be getting the comments back, and they'll go over the comments with us.
It's not terrible. They don't give them every year to people. You know what I mean?
I know, but we were really
Not
hoping
like
for
you
this
did
one.
anything wrong that I
And since Ken is not here, y'all need to formally accept this grant that he has already accepted on behalf of y'all.
That's the award package.
Yes, sir, the award package for the SAFER grant.
$234,200, and
Yes,
you don't
sir.
have to match it.
Y'all need to,
Need a motion to accept.
I make a motion we accept the safety grant awarded by.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
all right. And I think that's all I had.
All right. No. Okay. Trish, well, let me just say one thing. Come on, you can be walking. I was going to say, I've had a couple of calls, and we really need the whole board here to hear that because of the efforts we went through as a result of the flood and the two centers that we had, the Baptist Church and the Methodist Church. The folks with the Red Cross have come back and talked about how well things went at the Baptist Church. It was one of the better ones they had ever. The lady that was there from and she flew in here from Illinois, the Red Cross worker, and was bragging on how it was conducted and all. But at the very last minute, we had to pick up the Millennium Center and take them to the Methodist Church, and that was actually not a Red Cross sponsored shelter. So we're going to need to work on how we do those better, but we got some really good marks. The first responders, we still need to have a little ceremony and recognize all of them for the work that went on during that time, but we didn't have many hitches. We lost a really nice home where it was severely damaged, but there was not much we could do with the power out, but other than taking care of people. And ironically, one of the first people to show up at the shelter came from Brunswick, the family. And the worst part was, as they got here, the car tore up. And we had to help them get the car. We didn't pay anything, but we did help them get the car fixed so they could leave to go back home. But I think the county could be proud of what all of the folks, the sheriff's folks, the fire people, the ambulances, they were all everywhere we needed them. And people were bragging on what was done. Go ahead, Trish.
Was this the first time we ever had a Red Cross approved shelter?
Yes, sir.
As far as I know, it is.
Okay, y'all have a long meeting, so I'll try to be real short. I've given you, this is the first time we've done a newsletter like this. It's usually just been chamber opportunities. And I've just found a misspelled word, so I'll fix that before I send any more out. We did get two grants for the tourism product development grants. One is yours. We signed an MOU, or you signed an MOU with the chamber. You're just a flow through. The matching money that goes with this grant, the chamber will be paying that matching grant. I'll be doing all the work, Lori will just be a flow through. We've got to get that contract signed if we haven't already done it and send it back. Have y'all done that? No, you haven't. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. And there's a number of projects that we're going to be doing. Most of them will like doing the Welcome Center and having more interactive tourism opportunities for people when they come here. We've got the 3 festivals coming up. Those are listed. The October the 12th, the Regional Development Authority and the Council of Governments will be meeting here in Randolph County. This is our year to host that, and we will be meeting this time out at the Fellowship Home. If y'all have not been out there and looked at that facility, it is absolutely beautiful. And they are well staffed, and they will be adding more staff as they get more residents. But it's beautiful out there. The back page, you can read that about the Historical Society. Oh gosh. Web Jameson starts at 1 and 2. I missed that. Okay. We are invited to the Georgia Experience Center. That's the old Georgia Resource Center. It's a Georgia Power facility where all of the prospective industries come to look at what's available throughout Georgia. They have totally renovated that facility to be just state-of-the-art facility, and we've been invited to come up. That information is there. I wanted to print this off, and I couldn't do it this morning. But we're also, I'm going to be going, and we're supposed to take, there's going to be an incredible Georgia artist there, and we are to bring a small item that represents our community. And that artist is going to take it, and he's going to somehow include it in some kind of state, I don't know what he's gonna do with it, but anyway, I'm taking something. It's not supposed to be any larger than a Coke can and nothing perishable or fragile. And I'm gonna take our Welcome Center Christmas ornament. I don't know anything else we've got. If y'all can think of something else, I'll be glad to, because I can take several. If you think of something else that's available that represents Randolph County, let me know, and I'll take it too. But we do need to RSVP, so if any of you want to go, let me know, and I'll RSVP for you as well. Rick was talking about the maps, and you all approved the historic preservation ordinance. That group, that council, along with the Downtown Development Committee with Roe Randolph, is beginning to work on inventorying both Shellman and Cuthbert downtown, and we've marked off the area. Inventory all of the facilities, whether they're being used or not used, and if they're not used, how much the building would cost, how much it would be for rent, the square footage of it, so that we can begin to provide this information to possible business owners. Once we finish that, we will be going out into the county to identify those facilities in the county. But we have already gotten 2 maps, one from Shellman and one from Cuthbert, that we will begin identifying those facilities, those buildings. So that's in the works. And Grow Randolph, the committees are meeting. We're still busy moving forward on those specific areas of economic development. So thank y'all for what you do.
Ms. Patricia, did you want to talk to them about the meeting for the shadow boards today, or do you want to?
Since we hadn't finalized all that, let's just wait till
Okay.
October.
Okay.
Any other questions, Tricia? Thank you. And I believe that's what happened. Yeah, I don't think we need an executive session. So we're down to the final item. Do I hear a motion? We adjourn.
I make a motion with adjourn.
Second. Thank y'all. Thank you, Tom. Oh, wait a minute.
You got like that. Here, you smell that one.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Tommy.
Can I call us back to talk about that?
Hey, you want to call back to order?
Yeah. Hey, I need to call us back to order. Tommy, you can go ahead. Jimmy. Can you hear me? I said I needed to call us back to order. Let me tell y'all about. I had it laying right up here and I didn't. There's two items that we're going to probably try to get some data out to y'all to be thinking about for our next meeting, because we're going to need to make some decisions. One of them is a project to do with animal mortality and composting, which might deal with a lot of the deer remains that are winding up in creeks and dead hogs and stuff like that. And the River Valley has come up with some money to a grant to do it. But we've got to find a location and determine how we can do it, because it's got to be a manned project, which means wherever we put this thing, we will have to be paying an employee if we decide to do it. And then the other thing, we talked a little bit about, Tommy and I did yesterday. Ben had made a request to him. There is some conversation about possibly some chicken houses being constructed in our county. Now, I don't know any more than just a phone call I got about it, but we don't have anything in any of our ordinances that would protect adjoining neighbors. And most of the time when they put these chicken complexes in, it'll be like 3, 6, 9, or 12. It won't be a chicken house. And I think it would be a real boost to us as far as income for the county. So don't lose me on that point. But what we do need to know is make sure we've got some ordinances in place that would protect the adjoining neighbor. Because it's awful easy to decide you want to do something like that and go all the way to the far corner of your property and put it in so it doesn't affect your house, and 100 feet across the fence is your neighbor's house. So we gonna need to look at, and Tommy had got us up some information. I did not bring it today because it's 114 pages. But we're gonna try to get that to you because I think we're gonna need to talk about both of these in October. And we'll get you this information out. So now can we adjourn?
Nope. Stay here, Russ.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second, let's go.
You don't want me to draft anything.
Ain't nobody here tonight.
Just gonna sit here.
What they had, Lamar, some real problems up in Macon County.
Yeah.
These guys were putting these things in, and you know they've got humongous fans on them, and some of the stuff was blowing right into people's houses next door.
I'm sure.
I got friends go doing that down in Mitchell County now. And the chicken house got to be 1,200 feet from any house in the outlet.
Yeah, we need to put some of that together.
Question.
What's the address?
Your address.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Like the scale house and all.
Drive right on by.
What about like that, the drive
Right on by.
Okay, I want to be sure.
Turn the lamp lights on from it and drive right on by. I ain't never stopped anywhere else.
Okay.
You stop having these cause problems, let them chase you down. Turn the lights off you need to.
Only thing they might be weighing to see if you're hauling a load of water.
The only time that anybody has ever stopped at a weigh station, they cost 10-8 over $3,000. And it was coming through Kentucky. One of the drivers was driving a big aerial platform through there, and he decided to stop at the weigh station just to be the good Samaritan. They parked the truck. DOT parked the truck. We had to get a lowboy in there to haul it out of Kentucky and unload it and then go on. So
Golly, people.
We've been missing you.
Well, I didn't know about the
Can you do a remark at the festival like you normally do at 9 o'clock on the 21st?
Oh, yeah. You mean talk? Yeah. We always enjoy that. I have been strung out, Trisha, from here to young.
Yeah, I knew you had.
That's why I didn't get the Rotary. And I stayed in Cotton Field the last 2 days. It was hot.
No, it has been
But
hot
anyway,
here
yeah,
today.
I was planning on that. And I sent Miss Glenda an email, and I've not heard back from her about talking about this, something she wanted me to write up for the history book. Where's that at? You got a blank look, you probably don't know either.
I'm not sure what she asked you to write up.
You see, she walked in the restaurant down there one night, me and Tricia was sitting there, and she said, "You are going to write us something about the roof and the Welcome Center, and
I think it's 141 there.
I forget what else." And I said, "Well, exactly, what are you asking for, Miss Dunn?" And she said, "From the start to the finish." And I said, "You mean from the time we took everybody out of the building, built the other building, put the roof on, and got them back in, and started doing all the work?"
Yeah, because there's nothing. See, I'm supposed to be updating the chamber information, so I went back to the last book and saw as far as it went, 1997. So I'm picking up from that date forward and talking about how the four county chamber dissolved and we started back and we're doing all that. So there's nothing already previously written about it.
I
So
must have a dozen pages of it. And I'm wordy anyway, you know, when you talk to me, but
well, if you can just get the information
Levels and all that sort of stuff.
down, I mean, Karen and Glenda could probably condense it.
it's written.
Why don't you just make copies of that and give it to them and say, you know, do with this what you want?
Well,
Because I don't know how to condense
Break
it.
still, I just want to be sure the brakes.
I didn't know exactly how to deal with it. But now, I started from the time we moved the people out of here, built the building down yonder, put the roof on, where y'all took up and started raising money. I kind of tried to carry the
If
days.
it's something that needs to
And
be
some of it
done
I actually know
locally,
how
you
much
know,
it costs.
on the
Want all that junk
Yeah,
in.
let them decide, let them cut it.
What
And
are
you
they
know.
junk?
Now, are you doing it on the government center too? Because we don't have anything on
But
that.
if it comes down to like the pump, part of rebuilding a
I guess you
pump,
wouldn't have to
working
go
on
into a whole lot of
valves and
detail
stuff,
on that,
it's
just
better
that
to
the
get
government
a
center was
fire
built.
truck
I did, and when I talked a little bit about the changing
We've been
the
doing
floor
some
plan
work for the city of
and moving in.
Cutler.
Yeah, I talked a little
We
bit.
got mobile technicians that come down and
All
just
right,
recently did all the pumps.
Well, I
in
guess
the truck.
hearing that estimate
All that
of
means is, they set
what
the
Parker's
truck
gonna
up,
charge
they
to
got a little
redo the
portable
thing at the
pond,
government center is probably what we're gonna be looking at the
3,000 gallon
church.
water tank
Yeah.
is what it is, and you pump that truck for
Which
45
We had
minutes
choir practice in
and
there
making
last
sure
night, and it was
pumping
comfortable.
capacity.
And they were supposed to be there.
So the-
Today's Thursday.
My
They've-
company
they've-
worked
they've
with
mended
them,
it.
and we did the city of Cutler
We got an
and-
email from Jimmy that
and the
they've
county
mended
trucks.
it,
And then the
but
county
they
truck,
really,
we had one that did
it
not pass.
compresses out,
There's some valves.
and they can replace it, but we need a whole new
You're gonna
unit.
have to do some
You know,
repair work on
I think
that.
we've had that discussion. I think we were at
There's
this
some
before
questions
we
about
just
that.
patched it. I
Oh,
think.
good, because
And
I
are
remember
you
that
gonna
was
be
the plan.
downstairs for a while?
Not really.
Okay. I got that whole stack of stuff for you from the
And
trust.
about halfway through it, they decided to truck.
Okay.
But maybe I'll take it in there. and
Where
just-
is it?
I don't,
In my
I'm sure
truck,
that today,
front
the
seat.
ignition pump test, could not find.
I'll get it to you later. It ain't critical.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff in there you and Benny have been asking about.
Okay.
But I didn't realize I had.
All right,
It's gonna have to be pumped in.
and I had sent Laurie and Clara an email for them to get together and get that contract done, so I'll get back with them and get that taken care of.
If it's
Well, I'm just
there,
Laurie ain't so hard.
good, don't worry about it.
I just figured it had been done, but it hadn't, so I'll get with her and get it done, because you'll have to sign it.
I will.
Actually,
Now-
all this started, it was way back
And we,
in August.
actually, we approved that. Now, Tommy may say that we need to bring it in here before everybody for me to sign it, though.
Richmond last week.
But if it needs to be, well, I'll sign it. We'll do it.
I don't think so, because we've already signed, you already signed the agreement, and all you got to do now is sign the thing saying you accept the grant.
Okay,
That's all it is. So I wouldn't think you would have to sign it.
okay. How'd that sound for you?
Okay.
Everything else is okay?
Just busy,
I'm telling you, I thought I've ever had more going on than did right now.
busy.
It's in an industrial park, you don't go through a whole bunch of industry like we don't typically get down here, so it's pretty good. I got the address, I think it's 141 Maritime Drive, but let me,
I've seen the Maritime Drive in my ride down there. But anyway,
you might have been lost and saw it.
no, well, when you drive to Katie and Sam going somewhere.
Oh, yeah, you
that
could
way.
have. It's kind of like when people say, yeah, I've been by y'all's plant on I-75. No, you went by E1. You didn't go to, if you went to Pierce, you either knew where you was going or you were lost.
For real.
You're just trying to find out where the hell to get back.
I just turn this thing off. I do believe it's still going. They'll get over it. What?
So she turned the damn money down after all that. All right, I'm gonna see y'all on the next day. Y'all have a good one.
See y'all.
had a check.
This is employees foundation, independent contractor, and employee agency, independent contractor. Anyway, he's been working with the college and building these buildings up there. I see him over there, he took $1 million for it. Well, 45 over the members of the family. All talking about all the things. The other stuff can't even mention that's the floor they look on. They thought about it. So, one of the house, man, pine floors, and they don't look like those. And they didn't want to. And he said, I promised tonight. See the other time, because they will have other people really see it. I don't appreciate it. Yeah. Top.
And I hated didn't get back the other day, but I appreciated the invite.
We're going to try to do it again. There's still some birds out there, and I've been Andy brought me some sunflower seeds and got some grains on it from Scotty. So I've kind of keeping some additional food sources going out there. I mean, you know, you try to help somebody. I mean, I didn't realize all this crap. I knew you told me in the past that it's hard to work with. But, you know, somebody giving me $100, and that's what, $600, and that's what they asked for. Was just that. What can you do? Don't do it. Let's see what you said. Cemetery. Okay. I see it, maybe. I couldn't see the little blue.
Neither could I, but I knew he put it on there. Yes,
Yeah. That's awesome. Good flyers on there.
And I had, if you look at, I had some turned on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to call our meeting. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, September 28th. And just for the record, this is, we are 2 weeks later than we normally would be, and that's because of the hurricane and all the other issues that came up about the time we needed to meet. So call us to order. And Jimmy, would you open us with a prayer?
We're going to bow our head. Well, Heavenly Father, we come again, Heavenly Father, within your name and your will. Lord, we ask you, Heavenly Father, to guide our mind, Heavenly Father, so that we'll make the right decision on these things that we have to do for the county. Oh Lord, help us, Heavenly Father, to be able to stand in your name. We pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Thank you. We are supposed to have a gentleman here from River Valley to talk about our comprehensive work plan that we're going to need to approve shortly. And he's not here yet, so we're going to move on if we have to go back and stop and pick that up. Okay, we have our agenda. Does anybody have any corrections to the agenda or additions? I hear a motion. We accept the agenda.
I make that one.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll move on. Next item we have is citizens' comments. Ms. Kearney. Guess Carol may come.
She said that day before yesterday she was.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm addressing you this morning on the, the agreement that was given to me by Ms. Moore. And I'm sorry that we didn't have that you didn't include us in talking about the agreement rather than just putting a statement in the paper about it, because it was more than just what Mr. Coleman had put in, and I didn't realize, or I don't realize, and I think a lot of us don't realize, that Mr. Coleman sets the agenda and tells you guys what to do. Really, we always thought that you made the decisions that we elected you to address us, protect us, and direct us. And then if you needed legal assistance from the attorney about how to do it. But since I was not able to ask questions at the time, and because you didn't ask us any questions, a lot of this could have been avoided. So based on what you have in the paper, Mr. Coleman, about the agreement, and I'd already spoken to my commissioner, Mr. Allen, and to the other commissioner, Mr. Williams, who's not here, and told me he wouldn't be here. I wanted to tell you that what's in this contract is not what we can accept because excuse my voice, I have an allergy this morning. Because all of your whereases and all of your sections, but it does not pertain to us. Number one, since 2002, 2003, and I believe Mr. Coleman might have been involved in this with the city when they, matter of fact, we didn't even ask them at the time for the assistance. What they did at the time was one of the city council women, based on the hotel motel money, and they were dispersing it all kinds of ways, said that they felt that we was entitled to part of the hotel motel money. Since this came up, the question has been, don't we get some of the hotel motel money from the county? My answer was, no, we don't. Over the years, all we had ever asked was you to support it. If you look at your agreement, numbers, well, several of them, two of them I want to call your attention to, number 5 and number 6. Because I understand that what you approved or what you suggested, and to let Commissioner Bradley sign off on was the $600. seemingly they didn't know anything about the rest of this, about us having to get the $1 million liability insurance. They didn't know anything about us being employed. And I'm employed for something, I get paid for it. You know, you don't employ a person to do a free service. Now, we have been doing this since 1999. 2002, 2003, the city allowed us to have a portion of the hotel money, which takes care of anything that Cuthbert is payable on. We recommend. Cuthbert is a town within the county. This is our county seat. We have been asked over the years, what have the black people done? This was asked by one of them. He was glad to see that we was picking up the banner that was given to us, or put in our lap, not so much as really given to us. They said, well, why don't you all take this? And ever since then, we have been building and enhancing on it. And over the years, we have really grown with this festival. Now, tourism. I don't know how many of you have this book. And I know I'm not supposed to ask you any questions, but I've always allowed you to ask me questions. But I guess at this point, questions are not necessary because you've made your decision about the $600. Number two, we have gotten over the years from the city. Number three, we have been involved in tourism. When I said we, the Fletcher Henderson group have been involved in tourism from the very beginning. We first started out in the old chamber building when Mrs. Grigsby was the director of the Chamber of Commerce. And at that time, she was really in charge of working with the Fletcher Henderson Jazz Festival. Now, I think about 2 years ago now, the tourism board came down and did a workshop within the area showing how we could enhance Randolph County and Cuthbert, Georgia. We have a lot of tourism around here, buildings, old houses, old homes and everything. Even the Fletcher Henderson home, we started, that was part of our mission statement from the very beginning. We was never able to get it for other reasons, and I'm sure most of you know about those reasons. But when we get a statement in a paper like this, and somebody would say, oh, the county gave y'all $600. We said they didn't give us anything. We still have this agreement that we did not sign. We did not sign it because of this. Now, this is what we work on. After that, we put more into it since this came through for the county. And it has really helped those who is involved in tourism. And I don't know if all of you have a copy of this, but if you don't, I would suggest you get it, look at it, and see how everybody in the county can work together and be proud to work together. Now, we want to work with the citizens. The citizens are working with us. Because if they did, we would be able to do some of the things that we are doing. So with that in mind, what I'm going to say, by the way, we didn't need you to tell us to get a liability policy. We have one. We have one. Why? Because that park over there belongs to the city. The bandstand at the park belongs to the city. And I understand that Mr. Coleman has said that you can do whatever you want with it because it belongs to you. No, it belongs to the citizens of the county of Randolph and the citizens of Cuthbert. The public parks belong to all of us. And with that in mind, they have insurance on those parks. You know, I've always been told, read the fine print in the contract. To add to that, I'm going to say, read the entire contract. Because if we had signed that contract that day, Ms. Moore called us to come and pick up the check and take a look at it. Without taking a look at it, we could have been at the creek without that. Because somebody somewhere, and it's just the way these minds work, somebody would have stumped a toe in that pole. Do I need to say more? And then you would have been looking at us. We are not an employer or an employee. The only people that we employ is us. And we don't get a cent. Matter of fact, we put a lot of money in it. Starting from the very beginning, the first one we held here in the square, the entertainment that we had, Carla Heath Sands was our spotlighter that day. A citizen paid for that. The county didn't pay for it. It was only after that, and after the others we had a few years down the line, from 1999 to 2003, it was the citizens that was doing it. Now, we are the citizens. We were working for the county. We were doing for our citizens in the county, you know? And if you folk can't see it, we don't know what else to tell you. But with that in mind, I'm just going to say that we are not signing the contract. And I'm sorry that you don't find a way to support it. You know, if you were giving us maybe $1 million or the $1 million you asking us to take out a contract or an insurance for or something, and you're employing us to do it for the county, that's different. These favors and these contracts that you gave us, or the agreement, it said on the contract, it said an agreement. We haven't agreed on this, but we have read it. Steve, you took Miss McCall to come and pick up the check. So I'm sorry that you don't find a way to support it. But we do want to invite you to come and enjoy yourself because it's free to the public. You know, we start working on these. I started my portion of it working on it after New Year's Day. And if you've never really had an affair or an event like this, you don't realize the amount of work that's put into it. And I guess because I am retired, I have the time to do it, or had the time to do it. But at 87 years old, we have asked others to come in and help. And there are a lot of them came in to help that we didn't even ask. It's very supportive. And I'm very proud of it. And I hope that the citizens of Randolph County is as proud of us doing this, because for a long time we were only to a situation here, other than the children's homes. And we were not ever reached out to be a part of. We was never, when you asked to join things like the Garden Club and things around here, what was the statement? You got to be invited. All of us, we know how to plant grass. We know how to plant trees. Most of them around here, the citizens, black citizens planted them. So a lot of the white citizens and the black citizens have gotten together, and they have tried to make this area better, more inclusive, not exclusive. But this is an example of what life is like in Randolph County for our citizens. And listen, I'm not mad with any of you because you do what you think is right or what you want to do. Because you know a lot of the things you do is not right. A lot of the things you do is not right. And we know, but we elect officials to take care of the citizens, to take care of us, to take care of whatever we need here. And that's what we elected for. But to say that you are taking us as employers, or you're employing us to do things, you know, and it's only for a year, and if you decide you don't want to do it anymore, that is not how you plan a budget. Now, I know a lot of you are business people. You know you cannot plan a budget on something by waiting to see if they're going to give it to us and they're not going to give it to us. And I just think they're entitled to ask you for the help. Now, if you feel like you're not entitled to it, it's fine. That's fine. But we just got to find other ways to either do the right thing or be exclusive, if that's what you want to do, and give us, $600. We don't even pay for one affair with $600. But we are going to say thank you for enlightening us to how you think. And I have copies of this contract for us to see. I've already given Mr. Williams one. I'm giving you guys one. The rest of the council, I'm sorry, it's only 2 county commissioners here today. Because we work within the county, outside of the city of Cuthbert. And next weekend, you're going to see a lot of people here. Then I hope it will also include you. Thank you.